Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today I am doing this outside. I have a campfire going. It's a chillier day outside, but t-shirts with the fire right next to me. It is a little windy, so if it gets too bad, I'll just do a voiceover for this video. You can hear all my ducks and my chickens out. I'm not very close to them, but they're very loud. So if that's not your thing, you might want to skip this video, because I'm hoping to be able to just cut out like the super windy parts, because it's calm and then it picks up, and then it's calm and then it picks up, so we'll see. I've been working on this bee still, and I was looking at the key. And I noticed that there was two very, very similar pinks, and this right here is one of them, and this is the other. So I don't even know if you can tell the difference between this one and this one, but you can't even really tell the difference like on the sheet that they gave you even. So, and I don't have the original picture anymore, like the big picture. So I'm just gonna fly by the seat of my pants as best as I can tell the difference between the pinks. And then also there's the purples that are close to the pink that I'm doing now. So if you see me skipping spots, okay, so here's the pink right there, and there's a purple. I don't know how well the camera's picking that up, but that is what I'm working with currently. So it has not been fun. I've also noticed that, and in this kit, I can't find anymore. It's been discontinued online. But there is a symbol right here. I don't know if you can see it, where it's like a backwards Y, and it's red. And then right here, right there is a full red X. So those are actually two different symbols. I was thinking that maybe it was like not printed correctly, but it is. And then there is also a black X, and then there is the red slashes. Where are they at? Right down here, right there, red slashes, right? There's some with a white background, and then some with a blue background like this. I don't know if you can tell the difference between the white and the blue, but it's very hard, even in person, to see the difference. And even on the small sheet that they gave you, it is hard to tell. So I have a feeling this pattern is going to take me a lot longer than what it normally would, just simply because I can't tell the difference between the symbols really well. So now I feel like I'm moving slower to try and combat not being able to tell the difference in my symbols, because the more that I do of this pattern, honestly, the less that I like it. But I'm hoping that it's like a trust the process kind of pattern. And I'm just not liking it because it's not all the way filled in. I have been following this one to a T as much as I possibly can. Whereas with my other Scary Movies film one, if I didn't like a color, I would just change it to the one that was next to it, or that would make the most amount of sense. Because it would place like really bright colors next to really dark ones, just one randomly here and there. But this one I'm really trying to keep it to the exact pattern because I keep thinking maybe there's like a pattern in the wings or something, and that's why there's so many different symbols. Because to me, this is pretty confetti heavy. There was a tractor going by, and that's my rooster Jack. But yeah, so I'm hoping that it's just there's patterns in the wings, and to the fact that the entire background is white, and then they put these very, I don't know if you can tell, like these, that's a different color right there. That's not white. And they put a lot of those around the rim of the bee. So I might go through and do like, I know it doesn't say to, but I might try to see what it would look like with some back stitching on it in hopes that it would make the bee stand out more. Like maybe even just the wings. I don't know. I was hoping that the screw up that I had with the background where I only used 2 strands instead of 3, and then fixing it, I think that's purple. I'm gonna leave that one as purple. I think that one's purple. And going through and using 3 strands on the bee itself would be enough of like a difference, but it's minimal. I mean, you can tell that it's different, but it's not as big of a difference as I thought that it would be. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm still on camera. It's hard to see my screen. It's so bright and pretty outside. I'm ready to be able to sit outside and cross stitch and crochet and sit next to a fire. I mean, I've been doing that for a while, sitting by the fire. But it's been so cold. Either that or it's been like blistering hot outside, so I haven't been able to enjoy it. We have, okay, so what I was saying before I got cut off by the wind, because there was a couple huge gusts, the reason for all the fires that I've been having is because I have a whole bunch of like junk wood that's basically falling apart from being so old over on the cement pad that we have, and it's either we move it or we burn it, which in both cases ends up with you moving the wood, but because it's so it's falling apart, we just decided that, you know, we will burn it while we move it. So and the reason for it is because we have it on the back part of our pole barn, and I don't know if I want to go that way yet. And with it being on the back part of the pole barn, we need to clear it so my husband can work on his work van if need be. And instead of just moving it and storing it again, we decided that we might as well just burn it all, since it's not very good anyway. And as you can see, I'm working on a new color and a new symbol. I decided while I waited for the wind to stop to finish off the string that I was using, because it was short anyway. And then I started in on this light blue with a red symbol, and then I also started and parked this string here for, it's a red background with a red line or a yellow line through it, just while I was waiting for the wind to die back down. I also went and grabbed more of the junk wood and threw it onto the fire. But yeah, I've been burning it now for, I don't know, like a week, and I'm about halfway through. But I decided that, like, today I've already because we had to cut down pine trees for putting up our ducks' pen and their pond and stuff. So we cut down, or I guess more or less limbed up a pine tree really, really far. So I had to burn through all that, which is how I ended up getting this lovely poison ivy on my hands. So I finished burning that today. Made sure I washed my hands really good after I touched everything, but I decided just to get through it, because who wants to clear up from poison ivy and then have the chance of getting it again? You might as well just work your way through it the first time. So that's kind of what I did. And then started burning through the junk wood again, and I've had 2 broody chickens for the last like couple of weeks. And when I say a couple of weeks, it's been, the eggs should have hatched, and for whatever reason they were not viable. They all had chicks in them because I did candle them, but none of them hatched. So I don't know why. So I went to my local Tractor Supply and picked up chicks and snuck them underneath them today. So I am hoping that the chickens accept them and don't reject them. I'm not entirely sure if they will. So far so good, and it's been at this point like 4 hours. So I would assume that they accepted them, because it was two moms, not just one. For whatever reason, my chickens decide that they want to co-parent all the time. And I had one chicken sitting in there on the eggs, and then the other one's like, well, let me be a mom too. And at first, the first chicken wasn't like overly into her being around, but after the last 3 weeks, she's decided that, you know what, it's okay. She can be here. And I have another tractor coming down the road. Lots of activity today. So she's finally accepted to let her co-parent with her. And with all the eggs, for whatever reason, not hatching, and like I said, I candled them. I made sure that there was actually chicks in them. There was. I went and picked up 4 chicks that were as young as I could get them. So I think they were like 2 days old, 3 days old. And I put them underneath the moms. And I just been kind of eyeballing them for the last few hours to make sure that they weren't going to hurt them. And I don't know how long I should be checking on them, but I've been checking on them like every 30-40 minutes, just to make sure, because I don't want them to basically maul the chicks. But they seem to be doing good. The one mom I know is a good mom, but I've never had to give her baby chicks before. She did hatch some last year, and she was a wonderful co-parent to a different chicken last year. So my hope is that all is good and she accepts them. I'm guessing I will know by tonight, and if not, I'll have to set up the brooder box, which I really don't want to do, but they've also been sitting on the eggs for so long. Like, I've been bringing them food and water because they just haven't left the nest. And yeah, I just, after a while, you know, some chickens tend to give up, and I'm like, yep, that's just how it goes. Well, these ones sat there longer than they should have, because I kept figuring that the eggs would hatch, and they didn't. So I stole all the eggs from them today and slipped the baby chicks underneath of them. So hopefully, because they've been good for the last few hours, they've decided that, yeah, this is fine. The chicks were definitely young enough. So I did that today. I've been keeping an eye on them. I've been burning all the junk wood. I got rid of the branches with the potential poison ivy on them. I have watered the garden because I planted stuff, I think last week now. So I watered the garden, and I also transplanted a bunch of hostas that my father-in-law gave me like around the chicken coop. I did 5 transplants, and I'm hoping that they all take, because I'm trying to make that area look better. But yeah, I'm trying to make that area look better. And so I put in the hostas, and I'm going to be putting in rocks around them, and hopefully some, like, what are they called? Flagstone, I think it is, the flat ones, all the flat rocks. I do have some of them just laying around the house that I'm probably going to use, so that way I can create myself like a little path from the front door of the chicken coop to the chicken run. And then hopefully get a little pad in the duck area. We are going to be putting up their pond soon, so I ended up getting a steal of a deal on the pond for the chickens. So on Mother's Day, we're like, you know what, let's just go look, you know, whatever. I wasn't planning on buying a pond for the chickens. I was gonna dig, I don't want to call it a hole, but I was going to dig a pond and then put pond liner in it instead of getting one of the plastic ones. And I was like, you know what, let's just go look, see what there is. And when we went, there was one that was damaged, and it was up near the lip of the pond itself. And I mean, it's thick plastic, so I don't even know how this got damaged, to be honest with you. And it was originally like $189. I got it for $60. It's 150 gallons, and we looked at it, and it's only like, I don't know, crack that big from the rounded lip on down. So it's like the entire crack on the one side is only about this big. So we are going to drill holes in it, put zip tie it together, and then JB weld it, and then take the zip ties out, and it'll be all patched up. So I ended up getting the pond. That's my dog. I ended up getting the pond super cheap, $10 JB weld, and now the ducks have a very, very nice pond. And mind you, I only have 2 ducks. I got lucky and got 1 drake, and I don't know what they call the females. But I got 1 drake and 1 female. So 1 boy, 1 girl. And they're happier now that they're in their own area, because now they can make a big huge mess with their little kiddie pool that I have over there. They did have their kiddie pool in the chicken side, but I wasn't really able to keep it all the way full over on the chicken side, because the ducks would splash the water everywhere, and then the chickens would have to walk through puddles of water, and they'd get all muddy, and the chickens just weren't very excited about having wet feet all the time. So it was hard to, you know, keep both sides happy. So I'm glad we were able to put up the fencing and stuff and get them a real pond, and now we've been working on that. But my hopes is that I can get, because that area is kind of like muddy and dirty, get some larger rocks on that side just around the new pond area, so that way I can try and limit the amount of dirt that gets in their pool, so that way hopefully it'll stay cleaner longer, because that's a lot of the battle, is the water's not actually getting dirty from the ducks, other than they get out, they run around, get their feet all muddy because they're splashing in the puddles, and then hopping back in the pool. It's just like they're basically making the kiddie pool into a mud pool, a little mud pit. But other than that, it's really, it's not all that dirty. So I'm hoping that with the new pond and then putting the stones and stuff down it, they'd be able to keep enough water in there that they could enjoy the pool for a few days before it gets dirty, because I'm talking the kiddie pool gets dirty within like 2-3 hours. It's just a mud puddle. And like I said, a lot of that's because they purposely splash the water out and then go play. They will splash their little feet in the puddles and then hop back in the pool. Like, I've never seen a duck actually like go like this with their feet in the puddle. That's what they do. And so they're legitimately playing in the puddle and then going and rinsing themselves off in the kiddie pool. So hopefully getting the bigger rocks in there and limiting the dirt that they can actually bring in the pool helps. But yeah. So I'm going to try to push through this, but I think this one's just going to be a shorter video because it is windy. I wish it wasn't as windy as it is today, so that way you guys could actually like hang out with me outside. And I know some of you are here for, you know, just to stitch along, and there's others just to see the progress that I made from one video to the next video. But if I'm outside stitching, like would like you guys to be able to watch the progress and not have it to where you don't get to see, because I like to see people actually create the progress and not just like show up on the screen and be like, oh, this is the before I did it and this is the after. I actually like to watch the process. I find it nice and relaxing, and I know for those of you who actually watch it for that, want to watch it for that reason. And I know this one's a little bit different and I have to work with the weather and it's just not cooperating today. But you know, I also am still able to keep an eye on the chickens that I gotta keep an eye on while I'm doing this outside, and I'm able to keep feeding the fire that I need to get all the junk wood fed through. So it's like, it's hard for me to sit inside on a day like today and stitch when I need to be outside doing what I'm doing now. So my hope is that you guys actually enjoyed this at least a little bit, even with the wind being a pain in the butt. And you know, the roosters were being quiet before I turned on the camera. It's like the wind knows when I turn the camera on. The chickens know when I turn the camera on. I think the neighbors ended up, their dog was barking. I don't know if the camera picked it up or not. But it was barking and barking and barking, like, and that dog's a outdoor dog. So, I mean, it barks all the time. It makes my backyard not peaceful, which sucks. I mean, I'm not saying that my dogs don't bark, because they do. But usually, if they're barking a whole lot, I bring them inside. So that way they're quiet. And since their dog lives outside, I mean, I can hear the dog in my house, sitting out in the backyard. Like right now, the trees are starting to get their leaves. So he can't really see in our backyard, which, mind you, he's quite a ways away. We have quite a bit. But he like stares over here and just waits for my dogs or us to be out in the yard. And then he just sits there and barks. And I mean, he's not a small dog. They also do have a small dog that barks a lot too. That one doesn't bother me as much though. It's just the fact that, you know, I take my dog in when it's barking, and even if your dog's an outside dog, should probably give it some enrichment or entertainment, something. Because I know that they're an older couple, and the dog just sits outside all winter, sits outside all summer. And apart from them coming out and like mowing the lawn and feeding it, I really don't think they give it all that much like entertainment. So it's really hard to be upset with the dogs when truly it's the owners, you know, not giving the dog what it needs besides food, water, shelter. You would think that if you're going to have a dog, you'd like give it some kind of enrichment and not just leave it out. They have it tied to like their porch on like one of those tie out lines. I don't think they ever remove the dog from it, from what I've seen anyway. But the animal control won't do anything about it because it has food, water, shelter. It's their dog. They can do what they want with it. So, you know, it's just one of those things. Like, I feel sorry for the dog, but at the same time, like, I want to enjoy my backyard too. And if you're going to have a dog, you should at least, you know, give it something, some kind of enrichment. I don't know. Like I said, when my dogs bark, I bring them inside because, you know, they don't bark very often, but on the off chance that my one dog sees like a bunny, or we have a barn cat that comes up to the house every once in a while for his food, she'll bark at those. But usually they're pretty darn quiet. Even when people show up at our house, they usually don't bark. Now, because I have one that will bark. They're both German Shepherds, so she's very high alert, and if someone's here, she's gonna bark. But I have my other German Shepherd. I think her head's filled with rocks because she's not very bright at all. And I know something's amiss when she barks because she never barks. So it's one of those things that if I hear the one bark, I'm like, oh yeah, you know, there might be somebody here. Or she could be seeing an animal, or, you know, what have ya. But if the other one's barking, there's usually, you know, an issue. So that's how I rate am I gonna go look and see what they're barking at, or am I gonna wait for it to calm down or bring them in or whatever. So, and even when she does bark, it's just like a couple barks and then she's done. So I base my danger, I need to go look based on the one dog, and the other dog I'm just kind of like, okay, what'd she see? What's out there? Is it the cat coming up to the house, or a bunny in the yard? Maybe a squirrel. I usually never see squirrels in my yard, so usually it's bunnies. but I'm going to finish off these last couple of stitches here, this one, and call her good, because the wind is really picking up now, and I don't know how bad the audio is actually going to be on this. So I might just be SOL for posting this one. I hope not, but there we go. That's the finished one there, and I will poke this through. I like to park mine in the bottom right hand corner, so I will park it there, and I will work on this by myself, not on camera, and see how far we can get with it. Not a whole lot of progress so far today, but hopefully you guys can watch this video and the wind didn't destroy it. And if it did, then I will film a new one sitting inside. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.